have a feeling we're not going to have you on the phone for long.
For not for very long at all.
So here we go. We're going live here. We're going live here, and we are live. We are even live, and we have we are foregoing opening up the show for the moment because we got Brian Blues live from Maui, and he's not going to stay on the phone very long from Maui, isn't that right?
That's correct. Yep, right downtown Lahaina.
Lahaina.
Yep.
Now,
nice little town.
I seem to think when I went to Maui, I think I stayed in, what was it, Kihei?
Kihei, yeah.
Kihei. Okay, it looked like Kihei to me, and it was wonderful there.
We're probably all saying it wrong anyway.
We probably. Oh yeah, but the best part about Maui was there's this record store that have 8-track tapes in their basement, and I bought all their quads.
Oh, so I won't go there to look for quads for you.
No, well they
already bought them all.
Well, all except for the Jefferson Starship Red Octopus that they glued in place in the display of 8-track tapes. And that was what drew my attention because I see this display and I'm like, oh my God, that's a quad cart. And they go, oh yeah, that's glued in place, but we got more in the basement. I'm like, you got more in the basement? and then I composed myself because I didn't want them to realize how much they were worth. And sure enough, they charged me $1 each.
Right.
And that's what I remember about Maui. So now you're going to go see a band? You're going to go get some live tunes?
No, we were just walked by Fleetwood, in Lahaina.
Uh-huh.
And that's Mick Fleetwood's joint.
Okay.
And there was a band playing. It's an upper level, and there was a band playing, and I could hear them playing Steppenwolf song. I forget what it was already.
Mick Fleetwood was jamming on some Steppenwolf covers?
No. They had a band. He just shows up once in a while.
Well, he should sit in and play some Steppenwolf covers. I would love to hear Mick Fleetwood jam out to some Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Now Lulu is here. It hasn't said a word yet. Hello, Lulu.
She's speechless.
Hi.
Hi, Lulu.
Hi.
Now the game is how long can we keep Brian on the phone while he's in Hawaii? Well, actually, no.
Not long at all.
Well, that was cue for Brian to correct me. He is not on the Big Island. He's on Maui.
Right.
Maui.
Got some of that Maui Wowie there?
Good. Stay there. Just stay there and isolate yourself.
One jewelry store.
Now, there's been no cases of the virus there in Hawaii yet, correct?
Oh no.
No. That's why you visited. You're bringing it there. No.
That's right.
No, don't bring it there.
So Brian, when we got you on the phone really quickly, you saw my tweet recently with my latest computer purchase, right?
You bought that?
Brian, my earliest and first computer use was on one of those. So you're damn right I bought the machine that was the first computer I ever used. Of course.
I'm kind of jealous because back in the day I wanted one, but there's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was like $3,000 back then. Now,
yeah.
Now here's the question. Right. How much money do you think?
And that didn't even give half the money to school like Apple does. Or did.
Right. Now, Brian, how much money do you think I paid for that? And here's a hint. It doesn't work yet.
Oy, the drama says there's no cases because the virus is a hoax. Essential Oils doesn't acknowledge its healing powers for coronavirus, so the damn virus doesn't exist.
There you go. Thank you, Oy. You just solved the problem. Now, Brian, how much do you think I paid for a non-working compact portable?
$50. $50.
You hit it on the nose.
All right.
And that was, I haggled it down from 75.
Haggle.
So now I got to get it working again. All right, Brian. Well, do you want to hang out with us some more, or you want to go enjoy your lovely
No,
parrot?
I better go.
You getting the look?
Yeah.
No, you don't want to go. You want to stay here with us.
Yes, you do.
Ah, fuck.
Nice.
Go. Go, Brian. Go.
All right, Brian.
All right,
thank
we'll see ya.
thank you
All
for picking up. Bye.
Okay.
Brian, leave. Leave now. Leave while you still can.
Brian is vacationing in Hawaii.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's well, not Hawaii, Maui. So, Venison, how's it going?
Closer to the virus.
I think he's isolated.
They're on an isolated island. I think it will be the last place.
He'll be fine.
So people
drop the bed.
travel there.
Right to the
People
bed,
travel there.
Right to the...
So Venison, have you been watching my Twitter account?
Actually, no. Haven't really doing anything. Oh, I did see the Aunt Jemima thing.
That hair.
Oh, that one you saw.
Oh, Venison, I have a question for you.
Uh-oh.
Do you put butter in your hair?
What?
What hair?
Do you put butter in your hair?
No. Not even cocoa butter.
No, Venison. Do you take issue with my tweet? I was acknowledging history. I mean, we must not. We don't want to
Son of a
pretend
bitch.
like this didn't happen. Aunt Jemima was real and was living and made some damn good pancakes. And we owe her.
Aunt Jemima.
We owe her a debt of gratitude for those pancakes.
Yeah, so.
Jemima.
So I was just, expressing my appreciation. Now, here's something I'm not clear on.
What the hell? I got a bottle of it here.
Okay, now were Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben married? Are they a married couple? Are they the same aunt and uncle, or are they different aunt and uncle?
That's a good question.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I think they's a married couple. Ben and Jemima. They made rice and pancakes.
Interesting.
Santa rains.
I just said it, so it's canon now.
No, it's not.
It totally is. What happens?
I want to see a fanfic of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben.
Okay.
It has to happen. Somebody make a fanfic of Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben's, or find one.
What time
And there
period?
can be lemons involved.
Lemons involved?
Yes, lemons. Do you not understand lemons?
I don't understand where they fit into a fanfic.
Okay, lemons is where you add sexual content.
Oh.
Graphic sexual content.
Well, I thought it was implied when he said fanfic.
No. Fanfic can be PG, PG-13.
Yeah, but no
But
one
when you
reads.
add lemons.
But no one reads those.
No,
Every
usually when you
fanfic
have...
I saw was all X-rated.
You know,
Yeah, so it has lemons.
when I was in college,
That's a term I never heard before.
when I was in
Well,
college,
then you never actually read fanfic.
Want to bet?
so when I was in college, my roommate sent me a Clarissa Explains It All fanfic because I stopped.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Well, I was flipping through channels and I stopped to watch an episode of Clarissa Explains It All because keep in mind this is back in the day of Sabrina and the Teenage Witch, which was Melissa Joan Hart, and so I was like, "Ooh, it's Melissa Joan Hart," and so that's how my college roommate figured out. Oh, he has a thing for Melissa Joan Hart. Which damn right I do. I totally have a thing for Sarah Michelle Gellar, Melissa Joan Hart. They're on my list. You know, the list of exceptions that if the opportunity presents itself, you're allowed to.
You just had to ruin that. You just had to.
What did
You
I?
just up and ruined Melissa Joan Hart.
dude, I was digging her when she was Clarissa, and then when the Sabrina show showed up, and I'm like, oh my god, it's Clarissa. And same with Sarah Michelle Gellar. I was into her when she was Kendall Hart on All My Children.
Eh.
Don't
Now, what's this about fan fiction?
So my
What
roommate,
don't you get about fanfiction?
my roommate sends me this Clarissa Explains
Clarissa
It All
Explains It All.
fanfic, and it started with you know, the what was it, the neighbor that would come in through the window, and she's, you know, and the thing is though is that the fanfic started okay, and then it got weird and turned into a family gangbang, and I wish
No, it doesn't belong all in the family.
I hope that it's been scrubbed from the internet at this point, but somewhere in the universe, that thing exists. So if you ever run across a Clarissa Explains It All fanfic when you browse the internet, just say no and close the tab.
Fuck that. You guys did horrible. You guys did horrible things, Kimba. Deal with it.
Because that's Kimba.
Damn right.
Anyways, so there's this
That stuff is sticky.
there's this club, the New England Antique Radio Club, that has swap meets every so often, and they had one yesterday, and that's where I saw that lovely Aunt Jemima figurine that I tweeted that Venison saw. But what Venison didn't see was that I tweeted my new computer. It's portable. I bought this yesterday for $50, as I was telling Brian. It's got a handle on the case. It is a original compact portable, and
Fuck.
yeah,
The grinder's stuck.
over here at the bottom, the keyboard snaps off here, and there's a screen and a 5 1/4 floppy, and someone upgraded this to include a hard drive as well. So that's nice.
Oh, hard drive.
Yeah.
Thank you to her.
It doesn't boot up. It does beep, but it doesn't
it
boot up.
beeps.
It beeps. You turn it on, it makes a beep. The red light on the 5 1/4 drive lights up. I don't know if it's trying to load a disk, because I would expect to get an error message on the screen saying, "Hey, I'm looking for a disk." Or the draw writes in. So basically, Gators is gonna play Oregon Trail. No, I'm gonna talk about why I bought this computer. So as I said, when I was a wee little lad in a era called the early 80s, I saw a program
I
on,
remember Oregon Trail.
in the early 80s. I saw a program on
You go hunting and you die of typhoid.
I saw something on TV about computers,
Dysentery.
and
Typhoid, dysentery, same thing, basically.
and dysentery was very interesting to me, and I wanted to catch it and die of it. No, that's not. Damn it!
I think
saw a good
everyone-
one at-
I think everyone wanted to catch dysentery at that point.
Yay! I got dysentery. No, that's not. So
Yeah, I saw a good one at Teen Titans Go. That was whacked out.
I don't. I only remember bits and pieces here, because we're talking about when I was like 3 or 4 years old. And I saw something that caught my interest about computers and the things they can do. And you can make them make designs on the screen that look pretty. And I thought that was cool. And it's kind of sad that nowadays it's like, wow, that's what I thought was the coolest thing you could do with a computer. So we've come a long way.
The green and black screen.
And
I remember that.
And so my dad, the office my dad worked at, they had at least one of these, and so my dad would this way my dad could bring his work home and work on the computer, in our kitchen on the kitchen table. And so I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. You have a computer. There's a computer in the house. I saw you could make designs on computers. You've got to show me this. You got to show me that. And so my dad said, yeah, I'll show you later. So at some point he called me into the basement. He had a computer in the basement.
He didn't show you.
And he said, yeah, here you go. And because this computer, the DOS boot disk did come with some demo programs, and the demo programs were actually programmed in BASIC. You could actually open up the BASIC files in BASIC and list out the whole code, and there's your source code right there for all these little demos. Came with a few games, a few little design things, and well, I'm going to share that with you right now because we can emulate that. So I'm going to do a window capture is what I'm going to do.
Why?
Because we can. So we're going to capture... oh, no, that's not what I want to capture. That was wrong. That was completely wrong. No, don't do that.
Well, it is going to do that because it's your computer.
I hope I didn't have anything juicy on my screen.
Ew.
Yeah.
No, I didn't.
You could download more porn later.
No, I close all my porn tabs before I start the show. Anyways, no, I'm trying to capture a window, but I'm trying to figure out where I get window cap. Oh, wait, I do have a... This looks like it's a window capture window.
Oh.
All right. Let's find
That
DOSBox.
computer? Oh my god.
Is that cool or what?
What?
You got that for $50?
Yeah. Is that cool or what?
You got ripped.
These things are collectible. All right, so this right here that I'm putting up on the screen is DOSBox running the compact demo off of a disk image I downloaded and extracted. And I actually had to cheat a little bit to get this to even run like it would because the version of... The compact version of BASIC doesn't play nicely with DOSBox. So I got GW Basic, but the GW Basic I downloaded doesn't play nicely with the source code. So I had to basically load an individual part of the program and tell it to run from a certain line number. And I got lucky and got to a point where it will play these things without crashing, I think. So,
Don't use CI
Right.
Basic. It hates everything.
okay, and it just crashed. Okay, what do we need to do?
The story of your life.
I just had this working too. All right.
It's not going to work.
Oh, here we go. If I run it from line 1000, that starts me at the menu of the different design things, and from here we can run this with its lovely PC speaker sounds. So my dad called me down in the basement and said, here, check this out, since you've been asking about like seeing designs on the computer. And this is what came up on the screen, of course, in green and black instead of white and black. I am running this with its CGA graphics because they do include some color in the programming, because it would output CGA to an external monitor if you had one.
Uh-huh.
And now we're getting a bunch of circles with the dance of the sugar plum fairies and nice PC beeps. And this was thrilling to me as a little 3 or 4 year old. I thought this was cool at the time. And now here's the interesting one.
Fighters?
Now, this little part here that does the whoop, 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 this shows to be a limitation in DOSBox's ability to properly emulate PC speaker beeps, because this next part's not going to sound right. And I'll demonstrate later. That is not how that would sound on an original PC speaker. And I have proof of that because I downloaded a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, that was my first computer experience, was watching that. Was that thrilling and exciting?
That was...
Is Space Fighters any good?
Well, Space Spiders is basically silent designs. So we got that, which I guess, and then we got this thing that rotates around and fills the screen with blue and purple. And I as a kid, I thought Space Spiders was boring because there was no music to it. My comment on this was, where's the sound? No, this one doesn't have sound. Well, why not? Why doesn't it? Because it doesn't. But why not? Why is there no sound of Space Spiders? So yeah, that's Space Spiders.
Because you fool! Looks like I'm making a regular joint. I wanted to use my cones, but no.
Aww. And of course we got the Flight of the Bumblebee. There we go.
Ox says they didn't invent sound until later.
Oh no, but the others had sound.
But the others had sound. Yeah.
See, this one has sound. Yeah, I guess they programmed Space Spiders before they invented sound.
That one's pretty.
Yeah, it is.
I like that one.
There we go. Flight of the Bumblebee.
Even Star Trek, one of the TI-99 had sound.
Your mom had sound.
Yes, she did.
Oi, the drama said these are really terrible. Well, what do you expect?
It was 1983. Come on. This was cool. All right.
This was cool back in the day.
All right, let me I want to bring up this video to show it in a real one of these in action, and also to demonstrate the way the sound is not being emulated properly. So I'm going to go over to media source, and I downloaded this file
My hands are sticky.
just earlier, and hopefully this will actually play.
No comment.
Fuck off, venison. I was breaking up pot.
All right, let's see if
My
I can
grinder stalled.
see if I can fast forward. Oh, it doesn't let me fast forward this. So we could, while this is playing, is this still playing? Yeah. So this is someone with the camera on one of these compact portables on the screen here, which you can see the green cursor while it's booting up. And Lulu, which strain of pot are we smoking this week?
This is Redwood OG. The THC level is 16.59%, which means it has more terpenes than actual THC.
And I'll be able to order mine on Wednesday. Yay.
Yay. So how you doing this week, Lulu?
I shouldn't be listening to the news, and I need to stay off of Twitter. I need to stay off of Twitter, okay?
I think what the world needs more of is news and Twitter, because
No!
the more
it doesn't!
the more everyone watches news and gets on Twitter, the soon we can all mutually self-destruct each other. And then that'll take care of everything. I mean, that's where this world's going to eventually. We may as well just get to our destination. Right? Am I right? No, I'm not right.
No, you want to know why? Someone who suffers from anxiety and PTSD and shit like that, no.
There's no anxiety. There's no anxiety in the afterlife.
Dude!
I'm sorry, I went really
Not
dark
cool.
there. I went really
Not
dark. Okay.
cool.
Okay. All right. Well, our video is getting up to the point where they're going to show us all the cool things that we just saw, but on an actual vintage
You know-
machine. So
You know
here's
what's cool?
what's cool.
You want to know what's cool?
What's cool?
A fucking Commodore.
A Commodore. You know what? I wouldn't mind a Commodore. You know what? This is not playing any sound. So
Oh
the
shit! You got X-Tree?
I got what?
Whoa, X-Tree.
Oh, well, this video has X-Tree, but this video also has no sound, which was the whole point of...
Oh well.
Well, that's the whole reason I was showing this.
X-Tree is cool as hell.
It is, and it would work on the vintage machine. Also, I'll have to
You know
load
what
on
would
here.
be cool as hell? If you used Crisco on your hair.
All right, I think what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to play this in VLC and capture VLC. And this way I can fast forward right to the part. Because it's funny. I watched this thing and I'm like,
Vitalis.
the sound was completely wrong. All right, there we
You
go.
bitch asshole. Stop sticking to my fingers, you cunt. No, this is what I get for having a fucking grinder that decided to, like, stop fucking working because I haven't cleaned it.
We all love
Got all
Lulu.
the sticky fingers.
Everybody loves Lulu. That should be the new name of this program. Everybody loves Lulu.
Oh, you don't.
You just don't, bitch! You and your fucking Jerry girls.
Wait, what?
I said you and your Jerry girls.
Don't I wish?
Don't I wish?
I wish they'd make a
Now
version.
I do.
I wish they'd make
Now
a
you do?
version of OBS that actually works right.
Now you have Jerry curls? Ah, god damn it, it looks like a fucking fucked up Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll! Tootsie Roll!
It's all kinds of fucked up.
That is.
God, I even have a rolling mat. I even have a fucking rolling mat. Fuck this.
All right, here we go. Now this was the
What's up, Dune?
this is what we were talking about earlier, and you'll hear that part where it does that swooping sound sounds completely different
Oh, man.
on the original machine than the emulator makes it sound.
Where's my mushroom cap? Put them on this end.
Now here we go. Now that's a
That
cool
was not
sound, I
good
thought.
attention.
And the emulator totally messed up that sound. So someone needs to make a version of DOSBox that can emulate that sound.
Ah.
See?
Emily,
Lulu,
what sound?
your burp sounded more like that sound than the emulator version did. Anyways, Dune's in the house. So Oi
Hi,
writes,
Dune.
Oi goes, so Gators, you going to restore that compact to achieve those amazing sounds? They would make good samples. Yeah. Well, I am hoping to restore this. I actually am going to... I've watched some videos of people that have taken them apart, put them back together. The problem is that the guy that restored one on YouTube, basically what he did was he reseated the cards, he lit one of the capacitors on fire, and then he got a replacement motherboard from a friend. I can't really do... So it's like, okay, step one, turn it on, it doesn't work. Done that. Step two, attach another power supply, make a capacitor light on fire. I'm not sure I'm on board with that one. Step three, get a working motherboard from a friend. Yeah, so that video was pretty useless to me. But I am going to see what I could do to try to get this working again. And but the thing is, I do have a compact portable 3, which is about half the size of this, downstairs, and that turns on and tries to boot to something, and that's as far as I got with that. Because once I turned it on and it was looking for a boot disk, I was like, well, I haven't had a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive that worked in over a decade, and I'm not, and that was as far as I got with that. But now that I have 2 machines that need 5 1/4 inch discs in order to do anything with them, I went on to eBay. And I bought a 5 1/4 inch drive, and I bought a bunch of 5 1/4 inch floppies, And I have this cable here, which will allow me to connect it to my Windows 98 XP dual boot machine. And so I should be able to take the compact disc images that I found online and extract them and put them onto actual 5.25-inch floppies. And I think
And set them on fire.
and set them on fire. Yeah, no. I'm gonna start with getting the compact portable 3 downstairs to boot up and see if that boots up. Because Dune gave me that machine, it still powers on and comes up with a message like it's looking for a disc or something. So I think I can get that one working, and I think that one will even run Windows.
I mean, dude, don't you know you
2.0.
should always set the thing in Restore on fire?
No, Venison. I think you want me to set the Aunt Jemima figure on fire. Is what you want me to?
No.
No,
Aunt
Well-
Jemima syrup isn't even like regular syrup. It's fucking corn syrup.
it is. It is.
They
It is.
all are.
Well, except for real syrup.
Yeah.
But
Original Vermont maple.
But I may have to, dig into that basic code that for that part of the program that makes those sounds. And if I, get one of these machines working and start tapping into that, I can make all kinds of good samples with these computers. That might be cool. That's a great idea, Oi. I'm gonna have to see what loops and samples I can make in BASIC with beep tones. We'll see what the one downstairs does as far as sounds, because that one should be able to make the same sounds as this. So yeah.
Dude, just get yourself a Commodore.
Oh, I could do that too. Commodores are more collectible than these, so they're more expensive than these. I have my eye out for a good price on a Commodore 64 as well. But this
I mean, like, fuck, that one's been on fire.
this one? No, the one I watched on the video was on fire, not this one.
Oh, I thought the one that you've got has been on fire.
No,
Yeah, but the
no.
one this one, the video was working.
I watched
Yours isn't.
I watched a guy in the video fix one up, and he ended up fixing the capacitor that blew out, and he also got a few other spare video cards from a friend, but that was not this one. That was a video I watched online of someone else. But that was a funny part when he connected another power supply. He used like a bent paper clip as a jumper to add additional power supply to try to give it more juice to start up, and then this like burst of flame came out from the video card.
What?
Do I have to bring up the video?
No!
Okay, I won't then.
I bet
Fuck
reverse the
Christ.
polarity.
It's okay. All is right with the world now because you got pot. Now, Dune writes
I
in,
did.
Dune writes in, God help us. Dude, you can take credit for this. You did give me the other portable. My other thought is that, maybe I could get some parts off of the one that's downstairs that's useful on here. Because if I got like a bad power supply in here, maybe that's interchangeable, but I don't know. But we'll find out.
I guess.
But yeah, I think I could get Windows 1.0 or 2.0 working on at least the one downstairs. That'd be cool. Because remember, Windows 1.0 comes with Reversey. That's right, Reversey. I love that
You
commercial.
should get like a old Mac.
Ugh, why would I do that?
Because those would be badass.
OX64 writes in, Commodore 64 has a really awesome bandpass filter. I wrote a program once to pass audio through it and change the filter using a paddle control. Oh, that's awesome. I definitely want a Commodore 64 because I also have childhood memories of Commodore 64. My grandparents had one of those, and there was a disc of games I always played. Man, I wish that Commodore 64 was still floating around somewhere, but I think that probably got thrown out at some point, which is a
Don't
shame.
mention floating around.
My first computer was a Macintosh,
Oh,
believe it or not.
what era?
Don't mention floating around.
93.
Oh, okay.
It was a 93. I don't know which kind it was, but it was a 93, and it had a game on it, and I really liked playing it. It was a caveman.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. So Venison, what
Yeah.
are you floating on around there about now?
No, my Commodore. I had one, except it got drowned in 2 floods.
Ooh.
Yeah, the basement flooded when they changed the pipes. Assholes.
Ugh. OX64 writes in, yes, I am such a C64 nerd. I wish I still had the huge poster that I had with all the memory locations and other stuff about the C64. Oh, dude, that would be sweet. But yeah, I mean, some of my earliest computer memories are, well, this thing that I just shared. My grandparents' Commodore 64. I love playing games on that. At school, they had the Apple IIe that you did typing exercises with and programmed the turtle to go around and logo. So I remember that. But I always, yeah. It's funny what you don't realize until you look back, but it's like, wow, throughout my life, I have always been fascinated with computers. 5-Hit Dune asking...
Yeah, you didn't have it.
Go ahead, Vincent.
Oh. Yeah, but you never had a Texas Instruments TI-99A with the expansion pack.
No, but I had a
That thing
Texas.
was pretty cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. Dune wants to know, is Lulu smoking a lollipop?
No, it's not a lollipop.
It's a quarter pounder.
No! I got this from my mom's high school friend when he came up here to visit one summer. And he had it since high school. But anyways, it's an old-fashioned tip for joints.
Old-fashioned tip for joints.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you stick the tip of the joint into the hole.
You get it in the hole,
So,
and then you put and then you bring the tip up to your lips, and then you wait. We're talking about smoking still, right?
then you puff on it. So that way you're not like burning your lips on it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Heat FM Mod asked, joint? Yep, joint. Oi says the 5-Hit Dune. Brew Monkey has one that he uses to smoke his joints so it doesn't burn his mustache. It's ceramic.
Yeah, he had it since high school.
I remember those things.
Cool. Heat FM Mod wrote OMG LOL.
It's a lot easier to hold on to.
Oh. Cool.
But yeah.
Ooh. I'm smashing in another planet.
So the theme. So I bought this yesterday at the Antique Radio Swap Meet, and oddly enough, I really didn't buy much in the way of antique radios at the Antique Radio Swap Meet. But I bought some records. But we already talked a lot about records recently, so we don't need to talk about my original mono pressing of Bob Dylan, bringing it all back home. I did buy a few 78s, though, that I'm not going to play. A Les Paul, and this one that I just couldn't resist. It's an acoustic 78 of a military march played by the United States Marine Band. It's the President Harding March. So this is,
Wow.
how about that? I thought that was kind of cool. Oi writes in, I use a glass blunt for joints now. No papers. I love those little glass blunts. I landed a Monarch Stooges first pressed self-titled. Ooh. Now that is nice. I landed a Where'd I land? Where is it? Well, as I mentioned last week, a having fun with Elvis on stage record. This one's also mono, another side of Bob Dylan, and a mono of Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. Which you'll never see any Simon and Garfunkel mono reissued in digital because Paul Simon's a real dick about that. And as far as he's concerned, the stereo mix is perfectly adequate and all you'll get and you'll like it.
Really?
Yeah. There was actually a SACD scheduled for release in Japan of Bridge Over Troubled Water that was going to include the quad mix, because out in Japan they're still into SACD reissues, and if they have a quad mix they'll throw it on there. And I heard from someone that has inside knowledge that the reason it was canceled was because Paul Simon found out about it and said no and blocked them from doing it. Because heaven forbid.
Fucking bitch.
Yeah, he's a real douchebag. He's like, I never approved that mix, so nah. No one can have it.
And Oi, mono is best. What are you smoking?
You see, here's the thing. I wouldn't call anything best. I like. There is a principle to mono. I mean, Spectre was a fan of mono. He's also a fan of shooting people. But there's something about the power of a mono mix and getting that punchiness and that wall of sound. There is something to a well-executed stereo mix as well, and as you know, I am a fan of being surrounded by speakers too. I like it all. I have it all. Sometimes you want to hear Sgt. Pepper in mono, sometimes you want to hear the stereo, and sometimes you want to get the 5.1 Blu-ray out.
I want it all. I want it now.
Pretty much. No, but
bad nut.
But yesterday was a pretty good day for buying portables because I got the portable computer, and then I was Dune writes in twist red and white wires together, mono. There, fixed it. Oi writes in, okay, let me rephrase. There are certain records that mono sounds better. For example, I have the Zombies first album in mono. Ooh, that is a good one for mono. Much better than stereo. I have both versions. I could tell a huge difference sonically. And Dune has a major headache, but Heat FM Mod wants Dune to call in. And Heat FM Mod is saying, eat fish, Dune. No, that's on Fridays.
Hey, Mod, why don't you call in?
Skype is up. Anyways, so after I bought the computer and lugged it to the car, and I tweeted a picture of it to my dad. He was like, yeah, I had one in the 80s. And I'm thinking to myself, no shit, that's why I bought one. And he said, yeah, they call them portable. We call them luggables. And so after that, I was walking around looking at more things at the radio show. I saw some cool radios, some cool TVs, but I couldn't bring myself to buy them because I really don't need more TVs. And so I kind of went with small and compact.
Are you sure?
Well, I did actually buy a TV, but I also bought the smallest...
Which kind of TV?
Well, we'll get to that. I bought the smallest Sony Walkman. It's so small that to fit a tape in it, you got to expand it out like that, and then it opens up and the tape will go in. But, that's
You're sick. Bullshit.
Well, I bought this because I got him to throw this in for free, which is a handheld pocket TV. And you know how most TVs of the era would be backlit? Well, this is backlit with the power of the sun, because basically you have to have a light source shining on this to shine through this screen here, and then you watch the reflection on the mirror there.
What?
What, you don't want to walk around with a big-ass antenna like this, and watching TV while on the go? The problem is that TV doesn't broadcast in the range that this receives in anymore. So, you could only use it to get in static. But my brother had gotten one of these at some point. Actually, he had one that I think was a little smaller than this. And I had at some point, we were sharing it back and forth, and it was, it was really cool because we weren't allowed to have TVs in our room. And so somehow he got one of these off of someone from school. I don't know how he got it. But I'm going to have to show it to him now and go, hey, remember these? And he'll think it's cool. And Heat FM Mod is sick, but Oi says, I think Dune should give up messing with his rig before shows for Lent. I remember when I was
Monstrous chicken.
when I was a kid, I'd be like, well, can I give up homework? Can I give up homework for Lent? Maybe homework,
No.
No, they don't let you do that. They,
I gave up sauerkraut for Lent.
Did you eat sauerkraut before?
Tried.
I don't do Lent. Not anymore.
Yeah. I do the bare minimum. Basically, I ditch the pizza toppings on Friday, and that's about it.
Yeah, I'm a recovering Catholic.
Now, is that term actually
I don't do Lent.
Is that term actually floating around more these days, or did you pick that one up from me?
I picked it up from you and Ted Webb.
Yeah, that is
because he's Italian Catholic.
Italian Catholic.
And he might, no way. You might
I'm Mexican Roman Catholic, so I got the Santerias breaking eggs overhead while you're sitting under either a spoon or a fork for fertility, knowing what baby you're gonna have, type thing, with lit candles on the Virgin Mary and crosses and rosaries and
is that
blessings from the priests on a daily basis.
So is that why grocery stores that have a special aisle for Hispanic food has a section of Virgin Mary candles in that same aisle?
Yes.
That always struck me as odd. It's like, tortillas, salsa, and different varieties of beans and cans with Goya on them, and Virgin Mary candles, and I'm like, wait a minute, one of these things is not like the other. One of these things
holy food
isn't food. One of these things is
candy
not
skulls. We get candy skulls and sweet breads that aren't actually sweet, that has like a strange fucking flour, semi-sweet fucking topping on them that looks all freaking pretty.
But really, why is it that the Virgin Mary candles are sold at grocery stores?
It's easy. It's easy for the
tortilla,
Mexican rich runners. It's
tortilla,
easy,
beans, and
easy
candles all in one stop.
Exactly. You can go into like a gringo area, you'll find candles next to El Monterey hard taco shells.
Yes. In California, yes. It's I always figured it was kind of a, if you're gonna eat beans, you're probably gonna want to light a candle. You may as well make it a Virgin Mary candle.
It's for the white person who wants to who's trying to look Mexican for the Mexican friend that's coming over.
So that's why there's so many fires over there.
No,
beans and candles. good combination.
I
In all
don't.
sense, I'm trying to be funny, but no,
don't-
it's just
I don't know any
It's
white
just
guy that
there.
would think to light a Virgin Mary candle to try to appeal to their Hispanic friends. I'm just saying, that is not a thought that ever crossed any white dude's mind. Is like, hey, we're having the Mexicans over. Let's get a candle out. No, that is not the thought process.
No, but it's just there for convenience. If they just go into a store and it happens, they're like, oh, I forgot to get a Virgin of Guadalupe candle for my Santeria altar. I'm gonna pick it up with some bacon today, so that way I can make whatever. It's there.
Okay, all right.
Or for the Virgin Mary altar.
So let me ask you, how many steps away are you from a Virgin Mary candle right now?
Currently, we don't have one in the house.
Oh no! But what if there was a natural disaster or something?
However,
You are not blessed.
I-
Your house is not blessed right now.
fuck off, bitch. I am right now very close to 2 rosaries
Okay.
and a what are they called? They are green and white,
Green
and
and
they're
white.
like a little square, and it has right now the one I have is a picture of the Virgin Mary, and then on the back I believe it has
Like a little
a
medal or medallion type of thing.
no, it's not a medallion. It's a it's made of silk.
Okay.
And there's like a badge or something on the back side with a cross.
Do you got a framed picture of Chong depicting the crucified Jesus?
No.
Best part of Born in East LA.
And I'm also wearing a gold Virgin of Mary Virgin Mary pendant.
All right. You got a St. Christopher medal
Yeah,
in the
I'm
car?
a recovered. Huh?
Is there a St. Christopher medal in the car?
No, not yet.
Uh-oh, you are not blessed in the car if you get in an accident.
No, we're not.
That's okay. I think it was decided that St. Christopher never existed anyways. All these people driving around with this medal to a patron saint that never existed. All these prayers going to like some deleted. We're sorry. This saintly voicemail has been disconnected.
I also have prayer cards with saints on them over my door. I have saint cards, dude.
The recovery ain't going so well, is it?
No.
No. Her guardian angel has got his head in her hands.
Why?
Saying, I'm going to hell because of this bitch.
Why fight it? You know what?
I even have a Bible.
Just let me, since your recovery is going so well, let me just point out my thought, Gator's thought for the week here, because I found myself in a situation recently where I was in a room full of people, and we at some point all reached a point where we all turned to shake each other's hands, and I'm thinking to myself about how they talk about how you should wash your hands, especially before you eat, or don't touch your face and keep your hands washed, especially with the spread of the virus. And I realized we're all a room full of people that have all just turned and shaked each other's hands. I have no idea how many of these people have washed their hands, and we're all about to line up for some light refreshments. This is not good. This is not good at all. So please, for the love of God, wash your hands before you go to church, is what I'm saying here.
The power of the church will protect you.
Yeah, sure. Uh-huh. And no one ever got a cold from drinking from the chalice that everyone else is drinking from. Right.
Yeah, no.
I'm just saying.
No.
I'm just saying. Wash your hands before church.
And yet I have.
Please, for the
I
love of the
have-
people next to you, wash your hands before you go to church.
And yet I light sage and Palo Santo, and I have Buddha prayer flags and a spell book.
A spell book?
Oh, a spell book.
I have a spell book.
That's not Catholic. There's no spells in
that's not-
Catholicism.
There's not.
That's why she doesn't have a Bible in her house. The Bible will catch fire before it even crosses the church.
Okay. So we got some reasons that you aren't recovering, and you got some reasons that you are. So, okay. All right. You got 1 foot over here, 1 foot over there, is what I'm hearing. Yeah, well, it's all good.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good. I tried recovering. I couldn't, so I just said, fuck it. I don't believe all this, but enough that I'll just go along with the flow.
It has.
What's the
been
worst that could
ingrained in
happen?
me.
Is that thunder?
It has been ingrained in me for like how many years?
Well,
Like
that's why they call it.
5 years old to 14.
That's why
maybe
they call it
16.
recovering.
It's like fuck.
Eh, it's all good. Just go with the flow. Let it happen. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
So what are you, Venison?
Got a yellow tape across her saying, "Do not cross."
What's that?
What? Oh, my dogs are barking. That's great.
Message,
Venison.
a message from God.
Yeah, they're
I
barking
am
at
a message from
they're
God.
barking at the demons. They're just making their way in through the entryway.
Dude, I've
Severus.
seen possession. That shit is real.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Moving right along though. So Venison, where are you on all this?
My dad was possessed before he died. I shit you not.
Oh, that's not good.
No.
Where am I on all this? I don't.
You don't.
You don't?
So you recovered?
I don't even know.
You don't even know.
That's okay. No one knows. That's why. That's why everyone thinks they know the truth, but they all tell you something completely different. No one knows. No one knows. Let's change the topic.
Yeah, if God didn't have a sense of humor, he wouldn't have made the platypus.
I always thought the line was, if God didn't have a sense of humor, he wouldn't make us make those faces when we orgasm. But yeah, platypus, that works too. That also, the platypus is pretty much a,
What the fuck is that?
what were you smoking that week?
Oh, he must have been smoking what I'm smoking.
It's like, okay, we got a leftover beak over here. We got, he just kind of grabbed whatever parts he had, threw them together, and here, have this. There you go. No, well,
Here, have a mammal that lays eggs.
I do the weekly Sunday show
The
attendance.
kiwi lays eggs.
And I don't know if you all recall, like in
Yeah,
past
that's
weeks,
a bird.
I've talked about some of the controversial things that the pastor at my local church has said that it's like, huh? Really? Well, apparently I'm not the only one that was left with a bit of, what the fuck you talking about with this priest, because he abruptly resigned after too many complaints. And so
No.
yeah. He's at some point in a few weeks we're getting a new pastor.
Fuck.
Well, he was the one that was preaching about put God before your kids, and even if it means that they won't let you see your grandchildren, tell them this is not how I raised you, and you should. It's like, dude, what the fuck is wrong with you? God comes first. Disown your
Yeah.
kids. It was pretty much what he was preaching to us.
God come first, disown your kids.
Well, he not in those exact words, but he
Yeah, he lost it.
I'm summing up the lengthy homily he gave, but it kind of came down to if your kids are acting in a way that's not in line with the church, don't stop badgering them, even if they threaten to keep the grandchildren from you. And yeah, I think that might have been one of the things that got a lot of complaints. So
Fuck Christ, dude.
I will say though, his homilies did provoke thought, and
Thoughts of rage.
yeah, well, it made me reflect on why I disagree with him and what's wrong with this, and I don't think it's a bad thing to have your thought provoked, so that's why I didn't have a problem with it and kept going. But there were people that decided to complain about him, and I don't have a problem with that. So
He touched me in the no area
I don't
of
think
my
that.
mind.
Oh, I hope that's not what. I hope that wasn't happening.
Well, you
Never
never know.
know.
Maybe his ideas
Ugh.
gave them like PTSD just from the image.
All right, let's change the topic. Why talk about religion when we could be talking about politics? So, what do we all think about Buttigieg dropping out? So I think it's very clear what's happening in the world of politics. Everyone's like,
God.
oh shit, we don't want Sanders to get the nomination. Let's all drop out and get behind Biden and try to push that up ahead.
Oh
That's
no.
This is Hillary Sanders all over again, except this time it's Biden Sanders, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I don't.
And Warren,
I neither.
Warren should drop out and get behind Sanders, because now Warren's going to split that vote. Although not that she's doing that much damage, really right now. It's unfortunate because I liked Warren better than Sanders, but Sanders is the one with the momentum, so that's the if you're going to go progressive, that's the candidate to get behind right now. Really,
he's the only one that's sticking to the issues.
Here's the thing.
I'm voting for Vermin Supreme because I want a free pony.
Vermin Supreme?
Yes.
There we go. Dune's out.
I'm not
We
saying.
went and talked.
Can we talk
Didn't talk
about
to
the
no
quality?
subject.
Look, I came into this with a very intentional point of not talking about your guy. We're talking about our guys. Can we even talk about our guys without you getting pissed off? Is there anything wrong with us talking about our guys without you getting pissed off? I don't understand why you get pissed off if we just talk about our guys. Oi, writing
Bernie is a Russian operative.
bullshit.
Yeah, right. Like Trump
Bullshit.
isn't. Trump is a Russian operative.
Here's the thing: there are, me being fence sitter, trying to reconcile all sides. Oxray said, "Wait, who's your guys?" Well, I'm talking, like me being liberal versus Doom being conservative. So I was going our guys, as in Democrat, left-leaning party in general. I'm saying we're not going to go on an anti-Trump rampage here. We're just talking about, the Democratic primaries. I thought that was it. I thought, going that without talking bad about the right would be safe. I thought so. X-Ray said, labels. Yeah, I don't know all that stuff. Anyways, Oi writes in, don't be fooled by his grandpa-ish manners. He's owned by Putin. Look, this is what Democrats say about all their enemies, and now Bernie is an enemy of the blue. He's not owned by Putin. Anyways, basically, Bernie is to the Democrats what Trump was to the Republicans. He's anti-establishment to the party, and the party don't like that. And you know what? that worked for the Republicans in a sense of it got Trump elected. Long term, what does that mean for them? That's yet to be seen. Maybe it is good that Dune left. But the thing is I feel like the Democrats getting behind Biden is very similar to the Republicans getting behind Mittens Romney in Obama's second election. They got behind the safe candidate, the moderate candidate that could appeal to the middle, and they failed miserably. And is that really the strategy we want to go with? Go with the safe guy, because Biden is about the safe establishment, the safest establishment. Biden is to the Democrats what Mittens Romney was the Republicans, and I don't want that. I don't want that at all, and I think that's an outdated playbook. Now, I would be foolish to completely dismiss the theories behind it, because yes, there is some truth to the appealing to swing voters, but there's two very important things at play. One, there's appealing to the swing voters, but two, there is getting higher voter turnout in your base, because turnout is low in general, and so turnout is what has a really big effect. And that is what worked in Trump's favor. Trump got a turnout that was unexpected. He riled up more people to come out and vote for him that otherwise would have just said, to hell with it. And that is kind of...
words, riled up.
Yeah. Oi writing in, Biden doesn't even know what year it is. Yeah, he does. He knows what year it is. It's 4 years after Obama was president. And he knows that guy, Obama. He totally worked with that guy, Obama. His friend, Obama. I don't think I landed that one well. But anyways, yeah, so I think Sanders is actually the better strategy than Biden. Both valid strategies, but I think Sanders is the better strategy. He's going to get more voters out there, more people out to the polls. And whereas Biden's just going to be another But then again, people are fired up to vote against Trump. So that is, and I'm not saying that to bash Trump. I'm just saying that is a factor. Trump is a very divisive figure. I could say that without it being an attack. I don't know. What do you think, Lulu? Besides your pony.
I'm voting Vermin Supreme.
No. Venison, who are you rooting for?
Don't even ask me, because I'll go off.
Well, heck, you're in a swing state this year. Your vote means something.
Yeah, what, Ohio?
Yeah, Ohio's a swing state. Although I think they're leaning Republican these days, but it is still considered a swing state.
And that's where Ohio kind of I don't understand this state at all. These people are weird.
Well, I don't trust a state that takes a round pizza and cuts it into squares. That's what I heard about Ohio anyways. Someone told me, oh yeah, I was in Ohio once. They do this weird thing. I ordered a pizza. It was round, but they cut it into squares. And that's when I realized, wow, that's a fucked up state.
I never saw that.
OX64 says, I vote for myself. If I win, everyone gets a Commodore 64. Okay, you got you got it. There we go. I'll get on board with that. I don't know. It was Buttigieg dropping out caught me by surprise because he did good in the early primaries. I thought he'd hang out until Super Tuesday, but he. But then again, when you think about it, it goes, oh, I see what this is. This is let's push Biden past Sanders. This is what it is, and I'm wondering what backroom deals happen there. I'm thinking if Biden gets it. You're going to see Buttigieg in his cabinet right next to the cornflakes. You know, open up the cabinets and there's cornflakes, Rice Krispies, Pete Buttigieg, shredded wheat,
Yeah, okay.
Raisin Bran.
Quisp.
Quisp, yes. Biden probably has a box of Quisp in his breakfast cereal cabinet.
I'm trying to find that stuff.
I don't know.
I saw it in the supermarket a few years back, but they don't have that supermarket up here.
Yeah, that was back in the Eisenhower administration, I think. Oi, right again. I usually don't vote. I live in California. If you're not dead or illegal, your vote doesn't count anyway in California. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah, that's why Trump is around now.
Everyone knows the dead vote Republican. Anyways, where were we? Oh,
No idea.
I was just notified that my free gift sub to Velvet 7 has expired. They want me to go resubscribe and pay for it. Oi writes in, the rich dead vote Republican, only the rich dead. Oh, but if you die poor, aren't your riches great in heaven? Isn't that how that works? Something like that.
Better.
So aren't all the dead rich on some level?
You know what? I'm going to win the lottery. Invest it, make $1 billion, and vote total Democrat to piss them all off.
Well, no, it don't matter how much money I have. My principles are my principles. I'll vote, Democrat to the end unless I have some reason not to. But there's been, I would like to consider myself an independent, but the reality is that there's been nothing remotely of interest in me from the right that could make me a valid independent. Anyways.
No, I'm still independent. Fuck all of them.
That's Vermin Supreme. I'm also gonna put it in the channel. The only thing I don't agree with is his migration policy or immigration policy, but everything else I agree with.
Vermin Supreme. Oh, the guy with the boot on his head.
Yes.
Well, he's libertarian.
Yeah, he's libertarian. I just don't agree with his immigration policy.
Well, what's his immigration policy?
Letting whoever into the United States without any really just freely. That's the only reason.
Well, I do think
I think.
I think that it's good to let people in, but make sure you're paying taxes and here legally. I think we need to do away with this waitlist bullshit. That if we made a path to citizenship, then we wouldn't have, because that's my problem with the mentality of you're here illegally, let's just round you up and get you out of here, is that we'll give a reasonable alternate option. If the path is there and it's you do this, you do that, you can be here, and people choose not to do that, then okay, fuck them, get them out of here. But there's no reasonable options because it is completely fucked up. There's no reasonable ways to get in here legally. That's the reality.
Yeah, what's it, James Corden or one of these celebrities got the citizenship finally, and I'm slightly amazed because he's a celebrity and it took 10 years to do it. 10 years.
Yeah, John Oliver, and you know that's
yeah.
and that's a celebrity, and that's because of and the Trump administration has made it even harder for people to get in, like for what's that called, for asylum. They're turning people down and sending them back to their deaths, basically. And yeah, that's real compassionate.
Yeah, a lot of people got executed.
I mean, these are people that are coming, trying to do it the right way, trying to do it the legit way. Like, hey, we need asylum. Please help us out here. We'll, you know, do this right. And no, fuck you, go die. And that is not the America I want to live in.
Not the America it was either.
No.
That's why I say
I want to say it's un-American, but unfortunately, no, that is American, because that's our policy, and that's something a lot of people are voting for. I don't want that to be America. That's not the America I want to live in, but unfortunately, America don't stand for what it once did, and there's a lot of evils in this country to be ashamed of and to fight against.
Yeah, that's how I said. You know, you got to make a new slogan. MAAA, Make America America Again.
Well, that's about as useful a slogan as Make America Great Again. I'm really don't give a shit about like slogans. I want to see policies.
Well, people like them.
Yeah. Let them have them. They're meaningless.
No, that makes a little more sense. Make America America again.
But America's different things to different people.
America.
I mean, this is the America that half of the country want. Well, less than 3 million, less than half. OX64 writes in, yeah, it's all backwards. The people that deserve a chance to come here get tied up in all that red tape, while other people do it illegally and screw us all over. And that's the problem, is that then the people that do it illegally get victimized. Like, well, you know, hey, you know, the people that want to do it legit get screwed. Well, these people just come in and they steal it. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Villainizing the illegals for the system is not the way to go either. Not that I'm saying that's what you're doing, but other people do it illegally and screw us all over. Well, the people that do it illegally, the bad people that do it illegally screw over everyone, you know, because you got go ahead. I'm sorry.
We might have people come over illegally, but a lot of what happens is people will come in on work visas or student visas, and they'll stay longer than what they will say they would stay.
Right.
They'll start families here and everything, and then they will claim because they have children here they need to stay here, and then it becomes an uproar. They
find loopholes.
And it becomes it becomes a tragic story because they're ripping their mother away because she's an illegal, and the kids are here as citizens because they've been born here.
But they did it that way because they didn't have a legit path. Because that was and yes, you know, I understand the other side is like, well, this was a tragedy of their own making when they chose to break the law and stay past their visa. But the situation where we had this logjam and people can't get in legitimately is what leads people to making these bad decisions that put them in these bad situations, which then cause parents to be ripped away from their children, which isn't making things any better.
But some of them choose not to make the right decision. Some of them choose to not continue with their work visa and start this whole situation to begin with.
Yeah, but
I can see the migrant workers, not like some of these illegal immigrants that people say deserve to go back are migrant workers that float between the seasonal fruit and vegetables that go along the California Central Valley and even all the way into the area that I live in, and they float back and forth between Mexico, between California and areas above. And granted, yeah, sometimes they forget to do their visa, so they're considered illegals and then they have to hide out because of fucking ICE and shit. But sometimes they are just migrant workers.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, there is an issue there.
Yeah.
And sometimes, yeah, it takes a while to get a visa again. But a lot of it is visa expirations. It's not because they're illegal, because they're just trying to cross to be illegal.
Right. No,
It's because of
understand.
visas. It's because they're trying to get a green card. But there are other ways to get a green card instead of just because they are given a chance. My cousin used to work for migrant workers, and she said that there's pamphlets that they will hand out to these migrant workers and also other immigrants that will come into her office because they have to move around because of with the children. They would have to move around to other districts and everything, and they would have to set up medical care and stuff with the kids. They would actually have pamphlets on how to get your green card. So people can't say that the fucking government isn't trying to give people the chance to get a green card.
Well, but it's
the choices of the fucking people.
But there are quotas on that, and the people that are trying to do it legit get caught up in log jams. You can't blame people to say, screw that, why waste my time? Now, I'm not speaking from experience. Now, I have, but Gothard has a friend that met and fell in love with a foreigner, and she came to this country, and they got married, and they found that it was a fucking nightmare to get her in legit. It was absolute, and what they found is that a lot of the way the system works is you pay off people to get things, and they didn't have the money to pay off people to get things, and it took them a number of years to get through it legit. There are limits. There are quotas. There are, they don't. The line is long, and can you blame someone for saying, to fuck with it? This is getting me nowhere. I'll just, especially, and then you do have sanctuary cities, areas that'll turn a blind eye as long as you don't fuck up. And I'm all in favor of if you're not going to do stuff that's illegal. And you're going to be productive to society, just leave it alone, since the federal government can't get their fucking shit together and get a path to citizenship. We need a better path to citizenship. But that's, I don't know all the details you know about. Now, visa stuff, it might be different from green card stuff. I don't know.
When there, a lot of times people are talking about visas. That illegal immigrants are here not because they don't want to get citizenships, but because of their visa status. They're illegal here because of visa status.
Yeah. Oi writing in, I have a friend who is 41 that is from Africa, and it took him 35 years to get his citizenship. Another friend who was a refugee from Africa got his in 5 years. It's a very screwed up system that needs fixing. And
they do take consideration into whether you're a refugee or if you're just wanting a citizenship.
But we're sending refugees back at this point too. The Trump administration is being very unfriendly to refugees and sending them back.
Is it all refugees, or is it just from certain areas?
I don't know the details of. I really don't know the details of it, and so I'm not going to speak to numbers, but I'm going to say that under the Trump administration, less are getting in than previously because he's tightening up a lot of things. He's adding more restrictions. He's made it more difficult for refugees to get in. That I am comfortable saying. As far as numbers and who's getting turned around and the reasons, I don't know. I obviously the Trump administration feels that there are reasons that we should be letting less refugees in. I disagree with that.
Well, what's your opinion on? Okay, so you know how we always give out foreign aid?
Yeah.
How many times do we have to give out foreign aid and take in some other countries' refugees because of genocide, because of civil wars, because of diseases, because of like Ebola and stuff like that, because people are falling sick, because of because either we started a war, or because ISIS is causing acts of terrorism, or the Taliban back in the day, or Vietnam, like just out of everything. How much foreign aid do we have to give? Do you think it's right that we have to give foreign aid to everyone?
Well, we don't have to. We choose to do so, and I think it's good that we do. How much is certainly a topic of discussion. There are many arguments that it's beneficial for us as a country to give out foreign aid, that it helps us in the global world, that there are benefits to that it does pay off long term. I'm not a foreign policy expert, so I'm not really. But keep in mind, I'm a bleeding heart liberal, so I'm like, if we can help someone, we should. I don't know.
Okay. Do you think it was right of us to go into Vietnam? Do you think that was okay of us to go into Vietnam because we were, quote unquote, going to help?
I think the Vietnam War was a huge mistake. I don't think we should have gone in to fight a war, and I'm generally against wars unless we have a real need to defend ourselves. I think it was a mistake for us to go in Iraq.
Blame the French for that.
But going to the messages,
for Vietnam.
Oi writes in, the illegal aliens that come here from Mexico come in all forms. For example, I have Mexican friends whose parents sent them across the border first and then followed illegally. Then I have friends whose parents came here on visas and stayed after they ran out. They became citizens later. Warhawk writing in, I have no problem with foreigners wanting to move to America and become Americans, but they must go through the process to do so legally and not illegally enter. Oi writing in, the Vietnam was a political war. Right, that was a war against communism. We took the sides of the against the communists because it was Vietnam was a civil war within Vietnam, and we picked a side and started fucking with that. It was a proxy war, is what it was, and we basically just went in and bombed the shit out of someone else's country, and then left and said, "Well, here you go." That was great. That was real great. Great America. Great move, America.
We chose a side, but that could still fall under foreign aid because we aided a particular side in their civil war.
Right.
Does that make sense? So we've been giving some type of foreign aid from World War I all the way to basically the Gulf War.
Yes.
And Afghanistan.
And God knows where else. I think Kuwait. I think the Ukrainian, the Czechoslovakian thing that happened when they were causing genocide of the Christians. We were giving military foreign aid. That's just military. What about all those airdrops of food and water?
Well, that's compassion. That's
Yeah, but if you realize how much money we're spending on just that, and then when we carry over refugees from Haiti, when we carry refugees over from Kenya, Nigeria, when we carry over refugees from Honduras and Nicaragua and Guatemala and everywhere else. We supply them with food stamps. We supply them with housing. We supply them with a job and job training. We supply them with clothing. We supply them with everything like that for up to 6 to 8 months, even a year if it's a whole family.
Because it's the right thing to do.
And yet you wonder why he's turning away some refugees, because it is in the billions. And we have a deficit of how much on this country?
Well, that's because
No.
we have
Yeah, not
we have a
because
political
of that.
system that is more concerned with tax breaks for the rich than actually paying for the shit that we have here. Basically, it's the grand compromise. The Democrats want to tax high, spend high.
Personally,
Wait, let me get this out. Democrats want to give high taxes to the rich and have programs and spend it. The Republicans want to cut all the programs and cut all the taxes. So you got people that want to tax high, spend high. You got other people that want to tax low, spend low. And so the compromise over the years has been to tax low and spend high. And that compromise has not worked out good. We need to balance a budget. Now, we need to do it, though. It's going to have to involve some tax raises. And we're going to need to tax the people that can afford to pay it.
okay. So we have people talking. We have Warhawk.
Yeah, he wrote in that, Oi wrote in that Vietnam is a political war. Oh, before that, Warhawk said, I have no problem with foreigners wanting to come to move to America and become Americans, but they must go through the process to do so legally and not illegally enter. And I agree with that, but we need to fix that process. That process is broken, and it needs to be fixed. And that's the big argument. Before you start doing this whole let's kick everyone out, let's fix the process. And that's the debate. Republicans want to kick everyone out, then fix the process. Democrats want to give a path to citizenship, get without being heartless bastards, and fix the process. And that's ultimately the fight. No one will come to a compromise, and so that's dead in the water, and we just keep going with this. Oi saying Vietnam was a political war. Warhawk saying it was a civil war. The politicians in Washington thought they could win Vietnam, but had no fucking clue that the North Vietnamese were going to do guerrilla warfare and also use women and children soldiers. Kissinger and McNamara were not prepared for that, and neither were Johnson and Nixon. I have no idea if the Hill is conservative, Democrat, or neutral, but this is part of their article I just found. While the Obama administration deported 1.18 million people in his first 3 years, the number of deportations has been a little under 800,000 so far under Trump, according to the Post.
118 million. Come on. You're talking a third
One
of the country.
1.18 million. I'm sorry. I
In
don't.
his first 3
Okay.
years.
I didn't see the point in there.
I need to I would need to look at those numbers and also see what else.
Yeah, see how much is propaganda.
Because citing numbers to make your point is a popular thing. I also got that same article from The Hill that Trump supposedly supported fewer people. Let's see. Let me see what other things I can. Oh, you know what? Here's the thing: is that this article may also have a slant, because there's a CNN article from July of last year. Yes, Obama deported more people than Trump, but context is everything. President Donald Trump wants to deport a lot of people this weekend. You know what? They came in illegally. They have to go out, he told reporters this Friday. That's triggered a national outcry. Immigration advocacy groups criticized President Barack Obama as the deporter-in-chief during his bid for re-election in 2012. It's a perception that former Vice President Joe Biden will have to answer for as he campaigns to carry on Obama's legacy. The issue is complicated. The Bush administration moved towards removing people from the country with a court order, which more commonly known as deportation is referred to now by the government as a removal. This sparked increased criticism from immigrant rights organizations. In previous administrations, far more people attempted to enter the country and far more were turned away, often without a hearing before an immigration judge. That procedure used to be known as a voluntary departure, but is now called a return by the government. They all have the effect of a deportation, but there are more legal consequences for a removal than for a return. In totality, President George W. Bush deported even more people than Obama, and President Bill Clinton deported more than Bush. According to an analysis by the Migration Policy Institute, more than 12 million people were deported, either removed or returned from the U.S. during the Clinton administration. More than 10 million were removed or returned during the Bush administration. Far fewer, more than 5 million, were removed or returned during the Obama administration. Those numbers alone don't tell the whole story, though, according to the Obama administration officials. A straight numbers by numbers comparison doesn't provide an accurate picture of what was going on in the administration. Cecilia Munoz, who was a top domestic policy advisor to Obama and is now with the left-leaning New America Foundation, said in a phone interview. She argues that Obama prioritized deporting people convicted of serious crimes and recent arrivals who had no criminal records. If you're not targeting and focused on people who recently arrived, then the border is effectively open, Munoz said, adding, it is more humane to be removing people who have been here 2 weeks than it is to be removing people who have been here for 20 years and have families. Trump, by contrast, she said, has rejected the policy of focusing on new arrivals and criminals and instead wants to deport as many people as possible. It's impossible to ignore his rhetoric. He infamously called some Mexican immigrants rapists and focused his presidency around the idea that he would build a wall, get tough with Mexico, and deport as many undocumented immigrants as possible. Trump's planned raids come after years of claims that American citizens are harmed by the presence of undocumented migrants, from inviting crime victims to the State of the Union. Obama used executive action to temporarily give protected status to undocumented people who arrived in the U.S. as children and curb deportations from the interior states of the country. His focus, particularly towards the end of his administration, was on quick returns of new arrivals at the border who were perceived to have had fewer ties in the U.S., though that controversially included the same types of Central American migrants whose arrival had swamped the border this year. So what I'm getting from this article is that the numbers is trying to put a simple explanation of something that's far more complicated. I do think it is worth focusing a bit more on what was Obama's policy on returning people that were at the border. But to me, the real issue, stopping people at the border is not ever something I really had that much of a problem with, unless, like I said, I think they should have a process. I think there should be a process and a path to get in instead of just blocking everyone. And then the biggest problem I have with Trump is the people that are established here and tearing apart families and sending them back. I think we need a path to citizenship. All right, we got more.
We got a lot.
OX wrote in one of my favorite quotes: 97.358% of statistics are made up. Warhawk writing in, just reporting what I read, LOL. Yep, you did. And that was a very good point from Warhawk. Oi wrote in, one thing I can say about illegal aliens being a citizen in California, one of the reasons why it's extremely hard to live here financially, the taxes we pay for state pretty much go to illegals. Public schools have multiple fundraisers here because there is no money left after providing multilingual classes, free lunches, etc. When you go to the ER as a citizen, you're ignored because the state covers illegals and pay quicker than insurance companies. I could be bleeding out my eyes and ears, and the Mexican dude who cut his finger on a hedge clipper will get admitted first. I only know this because I live here and it happened to me, and I pay out the ass to live in this state. The upside is the Mexican food is amazing, and all you Midwest people have no clue how good it really is. OX writes, and why is that, though? If someone is doing something legal, why would it allow them priority? Oi writes, and because the state favors illegal aliens here, they help the rich get richer. The help is cheap as fuck. Warhawk writing, oi, as in illegal equals slave labor in a way. Oi goes, you don't even know how bad it is. Yeah, it's all fucked up. It is all fucked up on so many levels.
The Bay Area, it is so bad. Okay, I was in San Jose from I lived in San Jose for 18 years. I didn't move out of there until I was 18. That was back in 2007, and it was just starting to get bad. I went back in 2014, and it was fucking hell. I didn't know what the hell happened, but I still have friends down in that area, and they don't like it there. They hate it there. The rent prices, like for a 1-bedroom closet, it's like $2,000. $2,000 fucking dollars in San Jose.
Yeah.
On the outskirts. Like McKee Road and Story. That's like in the heart of fucking Little Mexico. And it's like $2,000 for that. I was like, what the fuck?
Well, you know, part of the reason I decided to leave California was because my rent kept going up, and I decided, well, fuck this shit. My family's back in the East Coast anyways. There's so many things that are fucked up on so many levels. Well, you know me, Bleeding Heart Liberal, I think that everyone should have access to health care, and we should have enough resources that no one has to wait bleeding out.
I posted something on Facebook because someone on my team is a Bleeding Heart Liberal, and I said I want to see socialized healthcare when the Congress and Senate get reasonable pay and don't have plus 30-year fixed working, like 30-year careers out of being in office. I'll see that when that happens.
I do think it is fucked up that Congress gets to vote their own raises, and you know you're basically set for life once you get in. I would definitely be in favor.
Fuck that.
I'd be in favor of a huge pay cut for Congress and put them on the same medical plan that everyone gets. Which, if we got nationalized health care, they would, in theory, be on the same plan as everyone. I don't think we'll ever see a pay cut, but I would like to see reforms in Congress that they can't just vote in their own raises. But the problem is that it would take an act of Congress to do that. They ain't going to do that. I mean, if there's one thing that that Congress could be bipartisan about, it's that they should get more money. There's never a problem getting that raise put through like clockwork.
Oh yeah, they got totally free healthcare. Don't pay a cent for it. But they're so scared of socialism.
Now, Warhawk says healthcare for everyone will have a cost. It really won't be free. Someone has to pay something. Yeah, and I'm not trying to suggest.
No, that's fine.
I'm not trying to suggest that social health care means it's free and just magically comes from somewhere. Sanders has a plan. What we pay for our premiums will instead be in raised taxes to go for national health care. Now, I get the concern that can we really trust our government to run health care? It'll probably be problematic. There'll probably be some bumps in the road, but we are our government. We are the people, and we better get a government that we can trust to do that, because that's if we can't trust our government to do the things that they're doing, we got some major problems here.
Dude, I am so scared that Bernie Sanders is a fucking socialist. Like, straight up, like, Hitler socialist.
He's not a socialist. He's a democratic socialist. I think the term social democrat would be more accurate. We have social programs in this country. There is a difference between Bernie Sanders and what people say when they say socialism. There is a huge difference.
Like, if he takes away my freedom of speech and shit, I'm gonna be pissed. You don't think I won't?
No. Are you seriously? Do you have a serious fear that Bernie Sanders wants to eliminate freedom of speech? Because we got Trump out there actually suing newspapers for reporting the news. I don't think it's Bernie we need to worry about. I think it's Trump we need to worry about when it comes to freedom of speech.
No, man, I don't know, with how the Democratic Party like just across the board has been acting. Like, I'm not talking about you. I'm not talking about Venison. Like, I've been watching a conservative YouTube channel that goes around, and they're it's conservative non-biased. Okay. They go around to the different rallies. They'll go to the universities. They'll go to, now they're going to some of these, both Republican and Democratic conventions. And they've been asking questions and just getting people's opinions. And fucking serious, I am scared of some of these people. Of some of the shit that is being outright, like, oh, dude.
Oi writing in, Gators, my problem with democratic socialism is that it will open the doors to worse things. Look at Venezuela. It was democratic socialism. Suddenly they have a dictator and went from the richest country in South America to being shot in the street for demanding aid. I'm sorry, I just don't see that happening here. Now, I've listened to very intelligent people talk about, I think one of the biggest things we need in this country is what's going on right here, right now. Dialogue with each other, listening to each other, talking to each other, and not getting pissed off and trying to bite off each other's heads. If we all need to do more of this, because the right have fears of the left have fears of the right, and just because you don't agree with that and are dismissive of that, because right now I'm like, really, you think Bernie's gonna harm freedom of speech? It's easy for me to laugh that off because I don't see it, but that doesn't make people who fear that fears not legit, and we all really need to understand that and talk about that. And we need a way to not be as we need to, if we all could at least listen to each other, we might be able to bring back some kind of spirit of compromise in this country, which is what we really need. Because
no, I mean,
yeah,
I think that's possible. I think that's possible, but it's also worrying because, like, these candidates do put off messages, and these messages are do worrisome some people.
Well,
because
go ahead.
Because, I mean, different people might like the idea, different people might not like the idea, but when they're finally in office, it's the people behind them that are actually going to go by what they want, and it's the people behind them that are either going to manipulate it within their own scheme, of things, or is going to go by what the actual president will want. I mean, like look what's going on with Trump. You know,
Yeah.
look what's going on with Trump. Yeah, you can say he's a bastard. Yeah, you can say he's a piece of shit. You can say that he's a dumb fucker. You can say that he's the best goddamn person around. But aside from what you see on social media, and aside from what you fucking hear from CNN and what he puts out on his own Twitter and the news articles and stuff and the shit that people say that he's passed and everything, and the trial that fucking happened, how much is it that he's done, and how much is it that the fucking people behind him has done? Because if you listen to that fucking trial, apparently that was mostly the fucking Giuliani attorney fucking speaking.
But Trump hired Giuliani to do the shit he did.
Yes, Trump hired Giuliani to do the shit that he did. But how much was that towards Giuliani's favor and not towards Trump's favor?
Hey,
or what Giuliani perceived to be Trump's favor?
I'm all.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm all in favor of taking both Trump and Giuliani and locking them up, as far as I'm concerned.
But do you understand what I'm saying? That's just a parable.
Yeah.
Or something to what?
Yeah.
To what
Trump surrounded himself with
say.
people to do his bidding, and they're all, fucking corrupt and crooked.
They're not corrupt and crooked. They're the
Retards. No experience.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm clearly missing something here.
Wow.
Well, let me go to the messages
I'm stoned.
Going, they probably didn't see it happening in Venezuela or Germany. You know what? Once again, it's easy for me to be dismissive of Oi's fears. Like, no one's talking about that. No one wants that. No candidate is talking about anything like that. And I don't see any real serious warning signs that Bernie Sanders is going to go all Venezuela or German on us. I really don't. But that doesn't mean that the fears are illegitimate. It doesn't mean that Oi doesn't feel those fears. And that's where we need to, okay, what can we do to make you okay with social health care? Or where could we meet in the middle? Where could we move forward with this? Now, Lulu, it sounds like you got your train of thought back.
Okay. And I hate doing this because I just used Trump. And this is going to sound so fucking wrong. And I hate myself. Because I hate comparing a president to fucking Hitler. But you remember Hitler?
Well, that guy?
That guy?
The
that
dude,
guy in history?
The dude with the stash? Yeah.
The dude with the stash.
I remember hearing something about him in history class. He did some things that were controversial. Familiar.
Bernie is like Hitler.
No.
Oh, God.
Reason why I said that.
Everyone thinks someone's like Hitler. But there was really only one Hitler. The sad thing is there's actually more than one Hitler, because there are people that have the family name Hitler, and boy, is that awkward. But there was really only one real Hitler.
Yeah, like the
Reason
guy
why I
who
say
reads the
that.
Mein Kampf in his bedroom.
Hitler. You're going to talk about
Hitler.
Hitler.
Yeah. The reason why Bernie's like Hitler, because Bernie's going to have a right-hand man other than his vice president. And that right-hand man is going to tell every all his subordinates what to do, the ones underneath Bernie's cabinet. And they're going to have their own little features everywhere. And they're the ones that are going to have branches. And that's how it's going to work. His vice president isn't going to know shit.
Oh, you mean like Pence and, Moscow Mitch?
Now, Oi writes in, Gators, Bernie won't. He will die next year anyways. But it opens the doors to crazier people. I don't think Bernie is dangerous. His ideas are. You have people like AOC who are insane politically. That's where my fear comes from. I don't think AOC is all that insane. And I think...
Oh, AOC is insane.
But let's keep in mind, she was elected. She represents a group of people. Now, if you're worried about insane people, I am fully in favor of term limits. Get in, represent the people you're representing for a period of time, get the fuck out. Yes, we need checks and balances to make sure people don't go on with corrupt power for, and we need the balances. That's the thing. If you're worried about corruption and evil people doing bad things, then let's make sure that our, checks and balances are firmly in place. Now, I think
they should be given a reality check like in Blade Runner.
Like right now,
every 2 years.
We got a president that got a Senate to go with the nuclear power to take some checks out of place and stack the court with judges that are backing his agenda. And then he goes and talks judges that he doesn't like. I'm concerned about shit like that.
Yeah. One thing here. Warhawk is in there saying Trump is a retard, but he's not really hurting freedom of speech. Oh, yeah? Oh, see, all the media...
He sued a newspaper for reporting things that he didn't like them reporting. Trump has been criticizing our free press way too much. Trump's not going to suddenly shut down the newspapers and turn this into he's not going to overnight suddenly turn this into freedom of speech is dead. But he is setting very dangerous precedents attacking the press the way he is.
And also, making a list of everybody who says bad things about him or doesn't like him or doesn't support him.
And I'm not saying we need to, duck, get under the desk and hide in fear. I'm just saying we need to keep an eye on that and make sure that we don't let these concerning things that Trump is saying turn into anti-freedom of press, freedom of speech policy. We need to make sure that Trump doesn't do the things that I'm sure he'd love to do to the free press.
Yeah, he's gearing up for it.
OX says, I criticize the mainstream press every day. Heck, that's fine, but he takes it beyond criticizing them to trying to discredit as president. I think that Trump really crossed the line with the lawsuit. He has really crossed the line there.
Yes, he did.
It could be debatable whether he crossed the line with the whole branding anything he doesn't like is fake news. Okay, you might argue he's entitled to his opinion. He thinks that reporting is unfair, and so he calls it fake news. That is at least debatable if he's attacking freedom of press or expressing an opinion. But when you press a lawsuit against the press for reporting on the shit you're doing, clearly he's crossed the line right there.
I think he crossed the line when his toupee decided to blow away.
Well, I think he crossed the line when he couldn't even be bothered to properly close an umbrella behind him walking into... Yeah, whatever. I'll just let it go. It just kind of shows a certain mentality that, I don't give a shit. I got people to clean up for me, and I'm done with this umbrella. I'll just put it down. But then again, I'm sure Trump's not the only rich bastard guilty of that.
I think he crossed the line when his White House chef needed to start blending in cauliflower into his mashed potatoes to get vegetables into his diet.
I'm surprised he didn't get fired for that. What the fuck you put in
Or
the mashed
shot.
potatoes? Lumpy potatoes? You're fired! You're fired! You're fired! Fuck's it's cauliflower. You're fired!
Give me McDonald's!
On that note, though, it is reached.
Orange man hungry!
It has reached the 10 o'clock hour here on the East Coast. The 7 o'clock hour over in California, which means it's 5 o'clock where Brian is. And don't we all wish we were there in Maui grooving with them? Because you know where I'd be if I was in Maui? At that record store looking for quadraphonic 8-track tapes in the basement. But we do...
I've been looking for their weed.
Ah!
Maui weed. Oh, yeah.
The Maui Wowie. Anyways, on that note, we do
Yeah,
try to
this
be...
shit once.
We do try to be educational here. I think we've all learned a whole lot here. And so let's start with Venison this week. Venison, what have you learned this week?
I've learned that you were totally crazy talking about religion and politics on this station. And you pissed someone, and you pissed off Dune. And you're going to hear it.
Oh, I never hear it because Dune just would rather not. I wouldn't mind discussing politics with Dune. I'd like to see us have a civilized conversation because I think it'd be healthy for two friends that respect each other to have a dialogue about extreme differences of opinions and try to find some understanding there.
No, you're a bleeding heart liberal, you snowflake. Get out of my sight.
Yeah, who's the snowflake? Anyways,
Can I join in?
Lulu, what have you learned this week?
Um,
And yes, you can join in if we have that, but I don't think it's
Yay! Let's actually plan this. Let's plan it for Saturday.
Yeah, well, you tell Dune.
No, you tell Dune. Let's tell Dune together.
You know, Dune, that show you do on Saturday nights where you sit and listen to music and relax, enjoy things? We're canceling that. We're going to all talk politics instead. Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll work.
All right, OX has a great compromise. I love to watch that. Gators and Dude discuss politics with videos of some girls skateboarding in the background. Yes! Yes. You all need to tell Dune that this needs to happen because he won. Anyways, Lulu, what have you learned this week?
I learned OX and Warhawk are awesome.
And I've learned if I make a run for president and I win, you all gonna be in my cabinet. Lulu, we'll make you what are you, like president of agriculture and stuff because you like the weeds, so you know how to grow stuff. I'm thinking Venison. We could what can we do with you? I don't know. Oi, we got to fit in there somewhere.
I'll do something good for healthcare.
Ox, yes, you are awesome.
I might do something crazy and even like make Dune
And
my.
Warhawk.
You know what? I'd be really crazy. Make Dune my vice president.
I'll take care of healthcare. 'cause
There
I
you
need
go.
it.
We'll make you.
I'll be agriculture,
You could be agriculture, or
so I'm FDA.
there you go. And we'll make Brian. What are we gonna do for Brian? Well, he seems to know a lot about different countries, so we'll make him like Secretary of State. He'll be fine.
4 fucking strokes. What the hell?
And when do we need to fit OX in there? I don't know. We need to give you all cabinet positions, but it is past time, so I need to go get ready for bed. But everyone, thank you for listening. Oh, we need to find someone to raid. Who are we going to raid this week? Let's see. Who's going live right now? You know what? Ray Rachel's live. We're going to go raid Ray Rachel.
I thought this is just elephant ballet again.
Yeah, I don't see them. Are they live?
Yeah.
Oh, they are live. All right, let's rate the Elephant Ballet. They're both great, but Elephant Ballet could use the viewers.
Yeah, they good.
So we'll go ahead. OX wants to be FCC, and we'll eliminate censorship. All right, Ox, you got it. You got it.
They're getting close to that anyway.
But you have to preserve net neutrality.
Definitely.
We need that. All right. Anyways, thank you.
My God, but I heard them cursing on the Justice League movie. Oh, shit.
Anyway, I want to thank you all for watching, listening, and participating. This is all good stuff. Communication is key. And vote early and vote often. No, vote once. Tell your friends, though. Anyways, thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. Good night.
This is really fucked up.
All right, let's do the raid. All right, here comes Elephant Ballet. Good night, everyone. We're just counting down to the Elephant Ballet. Raid now.
Venison. You should try avocado